The most important thing we do around here is we show the enormous difference between what a public official and a reporter says about black violence and what really happened when we look at the video. That's how we expose so much denial, deceit, and delusion, by showing the difference. But last year we hit the Holy Grail, we hit the mother lode, we hit the big kahuna. We were doing a story about Bart, and it was the big story in the news that we had done. There were like 60, 70 black people rampaging through a Bart station, beating up white people, attacking them, robbing them. It was all on video, but we never saw the video. Bart has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cameras, but they don't release the videos. So one of the Bart people, the one of the board members of Bart, was on one of these local 10 o'clock in the morning Sunday news shows, you know? When we did a video on this, you shouldn't have any trouble finding it. And they asked this vice president, this like civilian, this member of this board of directors of Bart, they said, where are the videos? Why don't we show the videos? She goes, well, I'm glad you asked that, because I asked the Bart staff that. And the Bart staff said, we're not going to show videos because that would make black people look bad. That's the Holy Grail. That's a public official saying they're hiding evidence, hiding information, so they can disguise and be in complete denial, deceit, and delusion about the level of black criminality on the Bart train stations. We've done a lot of stuff on that exact topic on Bart and other ways. So I didn't think we'd ever see anything like that again, but we just did. Same place in Bart. They had had 3 murders in Bart about a couple of weeks ago. All the black people were out and outraged about the white on black murder, but they ignored the 2 black on white murders that happened a few days before that. And so now that means the people in Bart have to have this long, thumb-sucking discussion about security at Bart. And so some of the people with some common sense on the Bart board of directors go, hey, shouldn't we have some more cameras? Shouldn't we do facial recognition? Shouldn't we release them to the public? Shouldn't we outlaw panhandling? And one of the other board members and people in the audience at the ACLU go, no, that would unfairly target the mostly African American youth who do the panhandling on Bart. Wow. That's so revealing on so many levels, right? First of all, it reveals their own profiling that they say they don't like anybody doing, but it also reveals the race of the crime and violence on the Bart trains to us. Something they did not want to do, but they just did, whether they want to admit they did it or not. Anyway, so now we go ahead. People are going, go forward in the meeting. This is all in the San Francisco Chronicle. And of course, more people on Bart are going, well, maybe we should have more cameras. And then the guy from the ACLU stood up, and being from the ACLU in San Francisco is kind of like being, the head of the Mormon church in Salt Lake City. So this is what he said. The answer is not a rushed surveillance proposal that poses a unique threat to Latinos and African Americans. That technology could enable racial profiling. That's one of the favorite things we hear around here, right? The racist cameras. The ACLU says cameras on Bart are racist. Well, the denial there is so deep and so wide and so massive. I don't even think there's a lot of people in San Francisco who could miss that. One of my other favorite stories from last year happened about a week after a couple of 100 black people rampaged through the campus of Temple University. They beat up a bunch of white kids, sent a bunch of kids to the hospital. Everybody shrugged their shoulders and they just said, well, that's just teenagers blowing off some steam. Colin, what's the matter with you? And there's this woman who writes for the Inquirer/Daily News in Philadelphia. She's in charge of the knee-jerk racial column department. So she writes a column a couple days after this, headline, "Stop trying to make temple attacks about race. 200 black people attacking 6 white kids on video, and she wants us to pretend this was just one big coincidence." But it's funny how her appetite for coincidence diminishes when she does a story about this woman from Penn State University. And this woman from Penn State, she found herself wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt in Cherry Hill, the Cherry Hill section of Philadelphia. And she said everywhere she went, white people were giving her dirty looks. They were glaring at her. They were scoffing at her. I guess, that's the big benefit of being a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, is that you can read people's minds. Because she said all the black people were going, "Oh, I love your t-shirt. Love it." It's weird that, sometimes you read these stories, we read things we learn things we don't even know we were going to learn. So this super genius here, she's like the chair of this department at the University of Pennsylvania, big school in Philadelphia. It's like, I'm the chair of the Department for Minority Serving Institutions. I mean, so when you go to a party or you go to somewhere and you give somebody your card, you say, "Yes, I'm in charge of teaching white people how to, be condescending to black people." And of course, Janice Armstrong could not get enough of this article. She could not get enough of her sister from another mother on this woman carrying this Black Lives t-shirt, because unlike the University of Pennsylvania Temple thing, this thing had everything to do with race. Oh yeah, because this white woman is woke. She's an ally. She's really, 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 really smart. All from wearing a t-shirt. Okay, so all this stuff at Berkeley, all this stuff at the University of Pennsylvania is all well and good. But why don't we get right back down to reality? Get away from the unicorns and the Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster swimming around this country. Why don't we go back to reality? Why don't we say hello to this dude? This guy, this is just a regular old guy going to a regular old casino in St. Louis. I don't know what he was doing in St. Louis. Walked out with a couple of the fellas from the casino with $400. Next thing you know, he is dead.
New into our newsroom, 2 men are now charged in connection to the killing of a California man in North St. Louis. Antonio Steed and Rolandus Lathan face multiple charges, including robbery and murder. Police found 31-year-old Nathan Owen shot multiple times Monday morning on Athlone Avenue in the O'Fallon Park neighborhood.
Ditto over here in North Carolina. White guy and his girlfriend just lazing around their trailer at night. I think they were asleep. All of a sudden, a bunch of fellas bust in with guns, kill him, shoot her. Just another black on white murder that apparently has nothing to do with nothing.
Developing story also this afternoon out of Cherokee County, where a home invasion is now a homicide case after the man we just showed you, Marshall Cooper, was found shot to death in his home. And now deputies are trying to find his killers.
Now, those who know and love him say he will be missed. Fox Carolina's Jennifer Phillips live outside the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, where deputies are still working this homicide.
Hey, Cody. Yeah, so investigators, they closed Phelps Road. That's the road where this homicide took place for several hours this afternoon. That road is back open, but there are still several questions surrounding this case.
This mobile home is at the center of a homicide case. It's a place Marshall Cooper once called home, but a killer turned it into a crime scene.
They heard a loud bang at the front door, and all of a sudden the front door came open.
Cherokee County Sheriff Steve Mueller says gunshots interrupted an early morning sleep for Cooper and his friend when 3 men broke into the home.
Things covering their face. They had hoodies on. 2 of them had black hoodies. 1 had a gray hoodie, and 1 had short pants on.
He says the men, armed with 2 pistols and a shotgun, made specific demands.
They were running through the house, hollering, "Where's the money? Where's the drugs?" And they was asking where the dog was.
Investigators say they are aware of drug activity at the home on Phelps Road in Blacksburg, and they believe so are the killers, who knew at one time Marshall Cooper had a dog.
We believe they parked the car a short distance from the home, and they walked in to the property and ultimately into knocking the front door in.
Investigators say after the men searched the home and when Marshall Cooper told them he didn't have anything, they walked toward the door.
They were standing near the front door. One of them shot several rounds, one striking our deceased victim fatally, and the other round striking the other victim in the arm.
This isn't quite as dramatic as a black on white murder, but this is black on Hispanic in Los Angeles. Lots and lots of black on Hispanic violence in this country. Lots of it.
They're robbed at gunpoint by 3 violent and dangerous men, and those men still on the loose.
Tonight, KCAL's Rachel Kim is live in downtown LA with more of that video and the story. Rachel?
Susie and Jeff, in the security video the LAPD here released today, you get a good look at the suspects' faces. They see the violent robbers struck as the employees of a taco truck were closing up and cleaning up for the night. This taco truck at the corner of Manchester and Normandy is popular with the locals in South LA. But on July 14, 3 men burst in craving cash. Security video from inside the truck shows the violent robbery. The suspects force the first employee to the ground at gunpoint. Then they bring in a second employee and start demanding money. Soon, one of the suspects pistol whips the worker on the ground as the other worker quickly hands over his phone, wallet, and cash. Police say the robbers were unable to open up a safe before they ran away. Tonight, the 2 victims were back at work but didn't want to speak with us on camera because they were afraid for their safety. But 1 block away at this taco truck, Luis Martinez tells us they've been robbed before too. Martinez says he's shocked at how violent this one was and says the video is a reminder of the risks and dangers that come with this job, especially because they deal with cash. We asked Martinez what kind of precautions they take, and he told us he and his co-workers try to be aware of their surroundings and they put up security cameras just in case. The LAPD is hoping you can help identify these suspects. Martinez tells us he'll be on the lookout for these guys. In the meantime, he hopes more police presence will keep them away.
I mean, how many of these do you want? How many of these examples of denial, deceit, delusion do you want? How many cases of black and white murder do you want? These were just things that happened today. Today. And yet we have an entire industry of people committed to the fact that they're just going to pretend none of this is happening. They're going to pretend that white people do it too. They're going to pretend that white people deserve it. We have a lot of work cut out for us, people. Now we have these same people that we thought were banished from the White House are returning to the White House to try to convince President Trump that we need criminal justice reform because there's a lot of black people in prison for no reason whatsoever. Even the Trump supporters are looking at what's going on. They're saying, oh, Trump is just playing 12th-dimensional chess. He doesn't really mean what he says. When he says he's for criminal justice reform, he doesn't mean it when he commends his son-in-law Jared Kushner and Van Jones, who have formed an unholy alliance to make this criminal justice reform a reality. So we'll see what happens. Whether Trump sticks to his guns and supports the cops, or whether he slides over to the Black Lives Matter side and starts doing things with the underpinning that all white people are very, very bad racist people. We'll see which side he takes. You can't take both sides in this, by the way. But one thing's for sure, if you take the wrong side, you're going to make a lot of black kids angry.